Welcome to the session 2 program BCom, and the subject is Computer Application for Business and E-commerce. The session topic is Characteristic Features of Computer and Computer Evolution to the Present Form. In the previous session, we have seen what a computer is and the data processing and what the methods of data processing are. The learning objectives of the session are to learn the characteristic features of computer, to learn the computer evolution to the present form. The session outcomes are, so students will know the characteristic features of computers and they'll know the evolution of computer to the present form. First, we'll see the characteristic features of computer. As we know, the computer has become the vital need of our day-to-day routine work. So whether it can be house or office or any business or any organization. See, just imagine a world that is without a computer. See, computers, they are abundantly used in every sphere of our life. Okay. So this computer, it has already dominated modern human civilization in such a way that there would be a huge impact on our day-to-day life without the computer. So for each and every work, for our day-to-day routine work, there is a need of computer. So without computer, we cannot imagine the life now. So we'll see some of the characteristics of the computer. So we have the speed, accuracy, diligence, versatility, reliability, multitasking, storing data, no IQ and no feeling. So we'll see one by one. The first one is the speed. One of the characteristic feature of the computer is the speed. See, the computer, it can calculate or perform any task that is very fast as compared to the human brain. A computer, it will perform any task that is in a fast way. So it can perform or execute millions of instructions that is within a second. So this data processing speed, usually it is calculated in the terms of megahertz or the gigahertz. So here hertz is the basic unit of frequency that will measure the number of oscillations or the clock cycles that is per second. Here the more number of clock cycles you have, then the more is the processing speed of your computers. So any task can be performed very fast when you compare to the human brain. Your computer, it has the ability that is to solve your complex computations that is within a fraction of second, whereas the same calculation, it might take hours together for the human to complete such complex computations. So that one characteristic of your computer is the speed. So you can perform any task that is very fast. That is, it will perform or execute millions of instructions that is within a second. The next characteristic feature of computer is the accuracy. So computers, they present a very high degree of accuracy. So whatever might be the input or the instruction that is being given by the user, so it will calculate the same and this will give a meaningful result also. So whatever the input that we provide or what instructions is being given by the user, so it will calculate the same and it will give the meaningful result. See, the error calculation, it might be due to the human or a wrong input. See, if a human or the user, he gives a wrong input, then the result will be wrong. So when you provide a proper input and you give a proper instructions or the commands that will be given by the user, then what result we get will be always the accurate result. Okay. The next characteristic feature of the computer is the diligence. So here, if you consider a human, so he'll get tired after continuous hours of work. See, if a human works continuously like for 12 hours or something, so he'll get tired. Okay, but the computer, he can work, that is hours together, that is without any tiredness. So it never loses the concentration for the hours of the continuous work. Okay, so it will never lose any concentration even if you work 24 hours, like continuously you work. So it can calculate, that is millions of instructions for hours without making any errors. That is the characteristic, that is diligence. The next characteristic feature of computer is the versatility. So here it is, versatility is another very important characteristic of your computer. So your computer, it can work in almost every field of your modern human civilization. See, this computer, they can be used at home for surfing the internet and the multimedia applications, like to play games or to watch movies, or for the online videos if you want to listen to your favorite audio tracks and so on. So it can be used for many purpose. In the home, you can use for all these purpose, like surfing your internet, like you can use your multimedia applications where like you can watch movies, you can listen to your favorite audios, then you can play the games. So certain things you can use it. And the same computer, they can be used in the office, that is at any organization, for the front office, or it can be at the reception center, or when you're trying to present the presentations, that is for the meetings, or when you are managing the payrolls, that is for the employees. So the same computer is being used in the office for different purpose. The same way, your computers, they can be used on the large scale, that is in the e-commerce industry, that is for the efficient business operation, that is worldwide. So here the versatile use of the computers, that is in every field, it makes it an inevitable component of your modern digital world. Okay, that is about the versatility characteristic of the computer. The next characteristic feature is the reliability. So it is another characteristic is your reliability. So here your computer, it delivers a very high degree of reliability. So that is uh, almost everything that is in this world, it is being computer driven. That is, if you consider the major industries, your business operations that takes place across the world, so it's being performed efficiently, that is using the computer because of its reliability. And this computer business, it is more profitable, that is with the use of the computers. So what does it do? It mainly, it will help to perform any task, that is in a very short period of time and in a very reliable manner. Okay, the next characteristic feature is the multitasking. So this multitasking capability of this computer, what we have, it is another characteristic of your computer. So here it has the capacity, that is to perform different types of task, more than one task or different types of task at the same time. Okay, for example, you can surf the internet, that is you can browse your internet, and at the same time what you can do is you can listen to your music. Okay, simultaneously there are two different tasks that is taking place. Okay, so simultaneously what you can do, you can also make a document in your MS Word. So you'll be browsing something in your internet, then you'll just what is that, you will remove your again word document, that is your MS Word document, then you'll be typing something, that is you'll be making a document there. So you can make, that is you can perform a different types of task, that is at the same time. That is the multitasking capability of your computer. The next characteristic is the storing data. So computers, they can store huge amount of data, so they can store any amount of data, that is after processing them. See, the stored information, what happens, you can use it, the user can use it in the future. So there are many storage medias, like your hard disk, your floppy disk, your optical disk, which is being used for your storing the data. Okay, so we can store your data, that is after processing, you'll have the information. So this information which has been stored, so that can be accessed by the user in the future. So the computer, it can store a huge collection of data and the information that is for any further references. See, nowadays what we have is the concept of there is cloud computing, so which has actually made things simpler as well as easier. Okay, so you do not have to bother, that is to obtain your local hard drive capacity of your computer, that is if you want to store a large amount of data. See, the online storage facility which is being provided, that is by the biggest your IT companies, like your Google, your Microsoft, your Amazon. So they all provide the facility for your online cloud storage. Okay, so this online storage facility, it has been actually provided by your biggest IT companies like your Google, Microsoft, Amazon. So they provide the facility for the online cloud storage. Okay, the next characteristic feature of the computer is no IQ. Okay, that is, this computer, it doesn't have it its own intelligence. That is, it will perform the task. That is, whenever a user gives an instruction. Okay, so it performs a task only when some input is being given, that is by the user, and the instructions will be provided to the computer. So it doesn't have its own intelligence. So the computer has been dependent on the humans, that is to perform any task. So it always receives the instructions. So instructions will be received, or the inputs will be received from the user, so that you can execute the task, that is efficiently and correctly. So it will wait for the user input, and then it will process that input, and the output will be provided. The next characteristic feature of the computer is we have no feeling. That is, you know that human beings, they have the feelings and the emotions. Because of this nature, what happens, the performance or the working capacity of the humans, it actually varies from person to person. So unlike a human being, what happens, your computer, it doesn't have any such kind of feelings or the emotions which will actually reflect on the performance capability of your computer. So therefore, your computer, it doesn't recognize its user's mood, whether he's happy or he's sad. So these are the few characteristics of the computer. So we have speed, accuracy, diligence, versatility, reliability, multitasking, storing data, no IQ, and no feeling. So next we'll see the evolution of computer, that is to the present form. So in the image you can see it's the abacus. See, many centuries ago, what happened was when man started to count the numbers. Okay, so he thought of a device, so which can trace the numbers, and thus it came the existence of your abacus. So it was your first counting device, and the name abacus, it was obtained from your Greek word abax, which means the slab. It actually means the slab. So this device, it basically contains your rectangular wooden frame and the beads. So you can say it has a rectangular wooden frame and there are beads in that. So here your frame, it contains the horizontal rods, and there are beads which has the holes, and they are passed through your rods. So counting was actually done by moving your beads, that is from one end of the frame to the another. So how the counting was exactly done? It was done, that is by moving your beads, that is from one end of the frame to the other. So the first thing was the abacus. Okay. See, the next we have the Napier bones. So it is the device which actually contains a set of rods, and it is made up of the bones. Okay, so it has a set of rods and it is being made up of bones. So it was developed by John Napier. He was a Scottish mathematician, and therefore the device was named after him, that is has Napier's bones. And this device, it was mainly developed, that is for performing multiplication and divisions. So for performing multiplications and divisions, this device was mainly developed. And later he actually introduced logarithms also. Okay, so the John Napier, he also introduced logarithms in the later days. Okay, so the image what you can see, it is the set of rods, and you have a board. This is your Napier bones, and this device, it contains a set of rods, and it is being made up of bones. So in this image, what you can see is the Pascaline. So this Pascaline is your calculating machine. So it was developed by Pascal. He was a French mathematician. So it was the first device which had the ability to perform the addition and subtractions, that is on the whole numbers. So this Pascaline, it was the first device, and it had the ability, that is to perform the additions as well as the subtractions on the whole numbers. So this device, it was actually made up of interlocked cog wheels. So it was made up of interlocked cog wheels, which actually contains numbers, that is from 0 to 9 on its circumference. So when one wheel, it actually completes its rotations, so the other wheel moves by one segment. See, one wheel, it completes its rotation. Okay, when it completes its one rotation, so your other wheels which is there, it actually moves by one segment. So this Pascal, he patented this device, that is in the 1647, and he produced it on the mass scale, and he produced it on its mass scale. Okay, so it was mainly a calculating machine. So the next we'll see is the punch card punched card system. So this punched card system, the image you can see, it is your punched card system. It was mainly used for storing and retrieving the data. So this was invented by Herman. He was an American statistician, that is in the US Census Bureau. And this system, it actually stores the data which is coded in the form of the punched holes. See, if you want to store the data that is in this punched card system, so here the data was coded, that is in the form of the punched holes. So Herman Hollerith, he also invented the tabulator. So there was a tabulator, so which was actually your first step that was towards your programming. So this tabulator, it was invented in 1890, and it was used to operate, that is only in 1890, that is through your census card. So as he was a statistician in the census bureau, so he actually developed devices so that would simplify the task that was related to his department. So later what happened was, there was a type 1 tabulator which was developed with a plug board control panel, so which allowed it to perform the different jobs without being rebuilt. So his inventions, they were the basis for the modern information processing industry. So in the later days, what this Herman did was, he developed a type 1 tabulator. That is, this type 1 tabulator, it had a plug board control panel, so which allowed you to do the different jobs, that is without being rebuilt. So then came the digital era. So that is when you coming to your digital era, what happened was, binary system, it actually made an entry into your computer system. So binary system means we use only zeros and ones. Okay, so this system, it was suggested by the Claude Shannon. He was an American mathematician. So the first electronic computer which was built was by Dr. John Vincent. Okay, so Dr. John Vincent, he was the first person who built the that is the first electronic computer. He was a physics professor. And the computer, it was named as, that is ABC. The computer, it was named as ABC, that is Antonov Berry computer. It is named after the scientist. Okay, that is Antos of Berry computer. There was and one more person was there, that is Clifford Berry. So the first electronic computer was built by the Dr. John Vincent Antonoff, a physics professor, and there was Clifford Berry. So the computer was named after their names, that is called as ABC, that is Antonoff Berry computer. So this computer actually used the vacuum tubes, that is for the data storage. For storing the data, they made use of the vacuum tubes. So it was mainly designed, that is for solving the systems of simultaneous equations. So we all know the simultaneous equations. So simultaneous equations na solve ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ for this system was developed. Then there was a general purpose computer which was developed, that is in 1946, and this general purpose computer, it contained like 18,000 valves. So there were 18,000 valves, and it used to consume like 100 kilowatts of power and weighted several turns. So this general purpose computer, it contained 18,000 valves, and it used to consume like around 100 kilowatts of power. Next, the transistors were introduced, that is in 1947 the transistors were introduced. So with this introduction of the transistors, what happened was the computations got simpler and it became faster. Okay, so transistors were introduced in 1947. Then in 1957, your IBM, they developed the Fortran. In 1959, the integrated circuit, that is your ICs, they came into existence. So which were actually used in computers. Okay. Then in 1960, your mainframe computer, it was designed. So which used the IC for the first time. That is your IC chip they started to use. So the mainframe computer was designed where your IC chip was used, that is in 1960s. Then in 1970, the memory chip, that is with 1 KB storage capacity, was developed by the Intel. Then in 1975, the first microcomputer was developed. The first microcomputer, it was developed, that is by Edward Roberts. He's actually the father of the microcomputer, Roberts. So he's the father of the microcomputer. So the first microcomputer was developed in 1975. So in 80s and 90s, so there were many modifications and the upgradations that were done. So in the 90s and the 80s, there were certain upgradations and the modifications which were done, and there was the usage of the chips and various other stuffs were used, so that the computers were changed completely. So they started using the chips, and there were other stuffs that changed your computers completely. So and during the period of like the period like 1972 to 2010, if you consider, it is considered as your fourth generation of computers. And here the fourth generation of computers, they mainly developed by the microprocessor technology. So and the period that is from 2010 to till date, if you consider, so it is roughly considered as your fifth generation of computers. There are many advanced technologies of your fifth generation, which includes like your artificial intelligence, the quantum computation, nanotechnology, parallel processing, and so on. So there are many advanced technologies. The advanced technologies are like your artificial intelligence, the quantum computation, nanotechnology, parallel processing. So these advanced technologies, they come under like in the period, you can roughly consider it to be the period of your fifth generation of computers. So in this session, we have seen the characteristics of the computers, like your speed, uh, uh, the diligence, versatility, accuracy, reliability, multitasking, storing data, no IQ, and no feeling. We have seen some a few of the characteristics of the computers. Then we have seen how the evolution of computer to the present form has taken place from the abacus, Napier's bones, your Pascaline and the punched card system, how the tabulator came, then the digital era, how transistors has been used, and to the present, like your microprocessors were used, microprocessing technologies, and now at present, like your artificial intelligence, your nanotechnology. So these advanced technologies are coming into existence. So these are the references. Thank you.